Hello everyone, this is day 41 of Polity Daily Drill. Let's begin. First question. Consider the following statements with respect to Schedule 5 areas in the country. Now, Schedule 5 areas are designated in states that have significant scheduled caste population to provide them with special protection and autonomy. Now, this statement is wrong. Why? Because Schedule 5 areas are meant for those areas which have preponderance of tribal population, meaning which has more than 50% tribal population. So, one is wrong. Number two, the legislature of the state containing Schedule 5 areas has the power to make regulations regarding the prohibition or restriction on the transfer of land from tribals to non-tribals. Now, this is also wrong. Why? Because it is not the state legislature but the governor. Governor of the state containing Schedule 5 areas has the power to make regulations. So, 2 is also wrong. So, which of the above statements is or are correct? D. Neither 1 nor 2. Moving on to question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding justice clocks recently seen in news. Now, these are clocks installed across all subordinate courts showcasing the time taken by the judge to dispose of cases. Number 2, it is an initiative of the NALSA to ensure that citizens are made aware of the pendency of cases in the country. And number 3, the project has been funded by contributions from both public and private sector. Now, all these 3 statements are wrong. So, what exactly are these justice clocks? So, recently, justice clocks have been installed at the court complexes of all the 25 high courts in the country, not the subordinate courts, the high courts. And these clocks are basically LED display boards that serve as an electronic signage system. Their primary function is to effectively utilize the database from the National Judicial Data Grid, the NJDJ, by making information accessible to the public. And this initiative is spearheaded by not NALSA but Ministry of Law and Justice, right? Central funding. And it aims to enhance public awareness about the justice sector. It highlights various departmental schemes and provides updates on the status of diverse initiatives, right? 39 such clocks have been set up so far. So all 3 statements are wrong. How many of the above statements are correct? D. None. Moving on to question number 3. Which of the following statements about absentee voters is correct? A. It was introduced in 2024 by the ECI to provide ease of voting to certain categories of citizens in the country. The statement was partially correct. It was introduced by ECI to provide ease of voting to certain categories of citizens, but not in 2024, in 2019. Wrong. It includes senior citizens, yes of course. People employed in the delivery of essential services, yes of course. Migrant laborers, no, they are not included. And PWDs, person with disabilities, is also correct. But since this is wrong, B is an incorrect statement. C. Such voters are given a choice to either choose proxy voting or postal ballot. Proxy voting or postal ballot. Now see, absentee voters get the option to either be physically present at the polling booth, meaning physical presence, or postal ballot. There is no option of proxy voting, which is only meant for service voters. So C is also wrong. None of the above is a correct statement. D is the right answer. Moving on to question number 4. Consider the following statements about the recently passed 106th Amendment Act to the Indian Constitution. 1/3 of the seats in the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies, including the Delhi Assembly, are to be reserved for women. Absolutely correct. Number 2. The validity of this reservation is set for 15 years. Yes, of course, but it can be extended by amending the constitution. Now, this is wrong. It can be extended by parliament by law, meaning by a simple majority. All right, nothing beyond that is required. So 2 is incorrect. Number 3. Reserved seats for women will be rotated after each delimitation process is correct. And number 4, the commencement of this reservation will take effect after the publication of 2021 census. This is incorrect. Why? Because the reservation will be effective after the census conducted after the commencement of this act. Whether it is 2021 census or 2031 census or 2041 census, whichever is the first census to be conducted once this act has been passed, post that the reservation will come into effect. So it's not 2021 actually. 4 is wrong. How many are correct? So we know very well B, only 2. And the last question for today, consider the following dignitaries: members of SPSC, members of CVC, members of ECI, members of CIC. How many of the above can be removed by the President after Supreme Court inquiry? So of course, members of the State Public Service Commission. Just to clarify, members and chairperson of SPSC and UPSC are removed by the President, not the governor. Members of CVC, yes, correct. Now, members of ECI, there is a slight confusion. When it comes to the Chief Election Commissioner, he or she is removed in the same manner as Supreme Court judge. And with respect to other election commissioners, there is nothing mentioned as far as their removal is concerned. They are removed. How? On the advice or recommendation of the CEC. What's the procedure? What's the manner? Nothing is mentioned. So this is wrong. CIC is correct. Members of CIC are removed after Supreme Court inquiry. So how many? C, only 3. This brings us to an end of our discussion for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Till then, that's all for me. Jai Hind.